I'd like to introduce you to Seth Pham. And Seth is working on his master's degree in cybersecurity engineering at University of Washington, Bothell. And he has an undergraduate major in computer science with an emphasis in cybersecurity. He also has a year of teaching experience in a high school. So I'd like Seth to tell us how he wound up here today, and I'll turn it over to Seth.
So I first decided to go to the master's program after teaching for about a year and kind of getting an itch that I want to go back for more schooling, and specifically for cybersecurity. I was going to talks during that time, and I was like, I really want to study more about this. So I decided to come back to UW-Bothell, and there was a cybersecurity program, and I applied for that one. And I heard about the T-Mobile internship on campus that same day, and I decided to walk in on that meeting. So it was kind of by half chance that I came here.
And it's a good place for you to be, too.
Yeah, I love it. It's a great opportunity.
Okay, and we have completed your assessment. And I remember, now, have you done assessments like this before?
I've done a personality test, like the Myers-Briggs ones, but I haven't done a job assessment before.
Okay, and as I pointed out, because you were getting a little spooked out
Yeah.
at the accuracy here.
Yes, it was really creepy. And I was like, there's no way this could figure it out. But yeah, it was pretty accurate.
It was very accurate, and it was very informative because, you know, in terms of your career training potential, you're definitely off the charts, especially in your numerical area. I mean, there's nothing you can't learn. You got everything that you need to do any kind of technical programming or a technical degree that you would like to do. But then we wanted to talk about job satisfaction indicators. Mm-hmm. So this is where it's really important, because when you have certain areas that are important to you, and we want to match that with what your career interests are. We want to make sure that you land solidly in the right swim lane within cybersecurity. So I noticed that you you don't like to multitask.
No.
What happens when you get put into a multitasking situation?
For me, I have a hard time focusing on one. I like to just do one task at a time, so which means the other two, let's say there's 3 tasks, the other 2 are going to lag behind because I rather put all my focus on one at a time. Mm-hmm. And then it also stresses me out now because I always have in the back of my head, I'm leaving 2 projects behind, but I can't focus on those 2 because my mind kind of just has one train of thought. You have that one train of thought,
yeah. and you like a fair amount of I don't want to say routine, but regularity.
Yes. I'm okay with learning new things. I love learning new things. It's just when I have to do a new process of how to do my job, that's when it gets kind of stressful for me. Because I want to do it the best I can, and I don't know.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, not only are you extremely organized, but you are very, very detail-oriented. I mean, when I saw your scores on this, I went, oh my gosh. And I'll ask you this, do you remember the last time you ever made a mistake that you did not catch yourself?
I want to say yes, but then I can't remember.
You can't remember because you don't make mistakes. Number one, you're somebody who focuses intensely on what you're doing, but you do not make mistakes. In fact, when you work on a team, how does that work for you?
When I work on a team, I like to pick up what other people are lacking behind, because I know if they are going to do a bad job on that, I'd rather be the one that takes it up because I know I will try to do it with the least amount of error. Mm-hmm. So usually I'll take it up and I'll research it as much as I can, and then try to fit in the places where the team is lacking.
Okay. Did you ever find that you do a little bit more than what would be your share of work on that team?
Yes.
In other words, somebody with your profile has to be careful not to be taken advantage of, because you are a workhorse, and you will get it right, and you will get it done, absolutely everything. And the thing is that you're the type of person that you don't like using your intuition. Everything is data driven for you.
Yes. If there's not research or data behind it, then I kind of it's not fully true for me.
Okay, well that's interesting. And the other thing too is when it comes to debating topics, and forcing your way on having certain things done, where do you fall in that?
I don't like to debate things. It's more like if the science says that it's true, then I have a hard time saying that it's not true.
Okay, and this assessment, remember when we debriefed this, we went over it and you were going like, my gosh, this is really accurate.
Yes.
Okay, so when I was looking at this, the other thing that came, I started looking at what your career interests are, because you're not exactly an extrovert. So how was it being in the classroom with?
Well, it came from years of being a tutor, and then as a teacher assistant, that I kind of just grew into understanding how to teach. And I wasn't a very charismatic teacher, but I would work with my students. I was focused more on one-on-one time than I did with the whole classroom. Like when it came to the whole classroom, I would teach a concept, but when it came to making sure the students know, I would focus more on one-on-one. I would kneel down with them, work with them with the problem. Yeah. You
found that less stressful than doing the whole class at a time?
Yeah, I found that was less stressful because having all those eyes on me at one time was something that it was hard to get used to.
Yeah, and then what happened at the end of the day? Did you go back home?
Usually I would go back home and just sit, eat some dinner, and relax, and no one talked to me for a bit.
Okay, you had to recharge your batteries.
Yeah.
Okay, so the reason that I'm mentioning this is when we started looking at your career interests, okay, it became very, very clear that you are an information data individual. Okay, you're not going to work outside. You said you like to hike.
I like to hike. Don't like to work outside, though.
Okay, there's a difference between doing something for 40 hours a week versus on the weekends when you can recharge your batteries.
Right.
Okay, so that's important to realize. And as I was looking at this and seeing that your managing is off the chart, you really want to manage.
Which was a huge surprise for me. I didn't think I was going to be in a managing position, to be honest.
Okay, but let's talk about what it is you really would like to manage.
That's one of my questions. If it was a high management score, what would I like to manage? Because I know I don't want to manage a lot of people. No. So I believe last time we talked about if I wanted to be management, it'd probably be for an individual project or a research that we talked about last time. Yeah.
Yes, that would be very heavily research oriented. That would be very technical. Because you like the technical aspects of information in cybersecurity, and not necessarily in the sociological aspects of people. Because you could do that. Mm-hmm. That would be interesting. So, getting into management of research would really be up your alley.
Okay.
So one of the things that I'm going to pose to you as we work together for this next year is: do you want to do research in industry? Do you want to go towards your PhD?
Yeah, that was the big question stepping into my master's program, because they do ask, are you going to apply for your PhD or your master's? And when I came in, I was like, I'm not sure. And I thought master's was the middle ground between getting my education and continuing more research or going to industry. And hopefully by the end of my master's program, I have a solid answer on that, of either continue with my PhD or not.
Okay, and sometimes there is a middle ground, because it's possible for you to go get your PhD and then work in industry. In fact, I believe that the team that you're on may be headed by a PhD researcher in industry.
That's true.
Okay, so ideally what we want to do is make sure that you can recharge your batteries so that you can talk to your family at home at the end of the day and not be exhausted, but also be able to make the contribution that I know you're capable of doing in this growing field of cybersecurity.
That's what I hope for too.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you so much.